Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, it's a difficult one. Last time we sat down and spoke about a European qualifier, I was very confident. I thought that we should have went through with some form of ease, and then disaster struck. So this time we'll take it a little bit slower. We'll talk things through with a lot of thought behind it, and hopefully we'll come to a conclusion that can still be positive, yet positive after the result too. So let's get into the video. Right then, Europa League qualifiers. It is time. We've moved out of the Champions League after the disaster to Ferencvaros a few weeks ago, and we head into the third round qualifier of the Europa League. We were taking on Riga of Latvia, a team who are currently top of their respective league table. Celtic off the back of a big win in the Scottish Premiership. A big weekend in the Scottish Premiership. Of course, Celtic now handed the upper hand in the title race with a game in hand. If we win that game in hand, we go 2 points clear. And I wanted to make a video discussing that alone, discussing the kind of disaster we found ourselves in only about a month ago when, we're talking about Rangers going 11 points clear and it was the end of the world, and you've seen the reaction, and now we have the chance to win that game in hand, go top of the table, but there's still a long way to go because it's very early and there's no telling where the league will go. So we'll take our minds off of that for a minute and we'll focus on the Europa League, a competition which last season we've seen great success in, and then we floundered, we floundered? And then we floundered in the round of 32 against Copenhagen. So we head back in, hopefully with a lot of optimism and ambition once more. And we take on Riga this Thursday night. So Celtic, as we said, coming off the back of a big win, a lot of positives from that game, but at the same time, a lot of negatives which really come, they come quite tight-knotted, from what we've seen against Ferencvaros. Defensive mistakes, moments of incompetence, moments of just sheer stupidity. That is what cost us against Ferencvaros. We don't need to talk about once more the amount of chances we had in that game. We could have killed Ferencvaros if we wanted to. We gave away silly opportunities and they countered from it. They went for remember their second goal just came out of nowhere, on top of them. Utter domination within that second half of the game. And then they went up the park and scored out of nothing. Livingston at the weekend there, they get their shot from about 25 yards out, 20 yards out. Goes in the back of the net. Because how? Because no defenders going to him. They have a lot of time and space to think about things, all out of a moment of stupidity after domination in the game as well. So there are a lot of similarities here which aren't really suitable for a one-tie affair against a team who are flying high in their own division and a team who undoubtedly will know how to punish Celtic if we give them those chances. Of course, we signed Shane Duffy. Of course, we've got defenders who have been linked with AC Milan. We've got someone we spent £7 million on. We can talk about how good on paper these defenders should be, but ultimately the performances on the park haven't been up to scratch. Shane Duffy will give a pass. He's been here for 2-3 games, and in those 2-3 games he's looked really good. He's been the best out of them. But the rest of them all need a kick up the backside. And this week against Riga is a massive, massive game for them because they've got to put a lot of wrongs right. A lot of the mistakes we've seen against Ferencvaros are not acceptable at this level. Doesn't matter who you're playing, if they're Latvian, English, German, whatever division they play in, they will know how to punish you. This is a team who we have to respect, we know can cause problems, and at the end of the day, we're heading to their stadium. It's the first qualifier this season we're heading away from home, and it's a real... It's weird. There's a weird feeling around this for me because, of course, one tie. We don't get the luxury of heading over there, taking whatever result we get, and then come to finish the job at Celtic Park. That's gone this year. We've been fortunate enough in the first couple of games that we've been playing at Celtic Park. And look what happened with Ferencvaros. They came to Celtic Park and beat us. So if it can happen there, it can happen anywhere. So away from home is a real dodgy one. I'm not a big fan of it. But look, we know how to play our game. Ultimately, what has cost us is individual moments of shutting down. I wouldn't even call it... It annoys me because I use the word stupidity a lot and incompetence. But at the end of the day, we've just shut down. The goal against Livingston, it looked as though there was just a system reset between the back line. And it just took a minute to forget everything they know. And they gave that opportunity away, and the Livingston took that opportunity. Riga will do the same thing. Big question mark, of course, surrounding whether or not Odsonne Edouard will start the game. We have heard talk that teams are looking at him. I think Aston Villa are reigniting or rekindling that interest in him. Arsenal have been said to be looking at him. Few other teams will undoubtedly be keeping tabs on him. But Neil Lennon has come out and said he's adamant he'll stay at the club. And I do believe Neil Lennon when he says it. We spoke about that in the Back Pages video the other day, so I'm not going to go through it all again. But I think Edouard solely was on the bench for fitness reasons the other day. I don't really expect him to start this game, but I imagine he will come on. We know how important he is. Against Riga, it's the sort of player you want on the park in these one-tie affairs. He's a guy who can use any moment, doesn't matter what kind of form he's in. One chance, one moment of magic, he will put the ball in the back of the net. So it would be great to have him on the park. But there's been no confirmation or not from Neil Lennon whether or not he'll be fit to start the game. It'd be ideal if he is. But I'm not too hopeful at the minute that he will be. On to the opposition then. We may as well talk about a team who, once again, I'm going to sit down and be honest with you, I don't know a lot about. Riga are a team in the Latvian Premier Division, or the Latvian Top Division, whatever you want to call it, who I doubt many Celtic fans have ever watched in their life. But from what I have gathered, we're looking at a team who will be able to cause problems against Celtic. Top of the league, reigning champions of the Latvian Premier League, and they're flying. 17 wins and 2 losses in the opening 19 games of their season. Shows you how good a team we're dealing with here. Yes, the domestic league over there, the top flight of the domestic leagues, is, below the Scottish Premiership, probably a good bit as well. Celtic have the resources to dispatch of them quite easily, but it's a team who'll be up to scratch. They've been playing football. They've won 3 of their last competitive games. There is no doubt about this that it's all the makings of a difficult night for Celtic, and once again has the makings of a night that could be like Ferencváros. You take your foot off the gas for a moment. Next thing you know, 90th minute, the calls for Neil Lennon to be sacked are out once more. Of course, as the champions, they did head into the Champions League qualifiers. They were knocked out in the first round by Maccabi Tel Aviv, but beat Fiore of San Marino in the last round of the Europa League qualifiers quite narrowly. And, if it's quite narrowly against a San Marino side, you do on paper expect Celtic to go out and level this mob. But we can't sit here as Celtic fans and pretend that is the reality now. We can't pretend that is what we should be doing, because we've seen how much we struggle in Europe. Away from home in Europe as well. Yes, last year we can go on about how we went over to Italy and beat Lazio, and we went over to Rennes and gave them a game and took a point away. But in these qualifiers at this stage of the season, Celtic are completely different. And without fans as well, it changes the whole complexion of the tie. It's really annoying, but these rounds aren't pretty. They never are for Celtic. You could hand us a pub team. You could a genuine pub team. Like, you could take 11 munters for the Town Savern, put them on a park, and Celtic will struggle against them in these stages of the competition. A funny story about the opposition is they actually could be missing their manager. We talk about players that are missing. We're talking about on our side, Eduard might be out for this game. We might not have him. We might not have our star man on the field. Well, the guy who's managing this side to, I think, 2 straight league titles, currently top of the table, is not going to be there on Thursday. Maybe. There's no confirmation or not from the side yet, but for personal reasons, the manager has travelled back to his home country of Russia, and there is talk of him not being available to be on the sidelines on the game on Thursday, which is really weird. And they've got one of their coaches taking first team training in a minute. So it's once again, I've touched on it and I'll say it, it's just one of those nights that everything points towards Celtic going out and getting humiliated. And Neil Lennon will feel the pressure if that was the case. Look, Neil Lennon knows the importance of this. Neil Lennon knows the criticism he'll be under. We need to win this game. We need to get into the Europa League. Now, I know last year a lot of Celtic fans, perhaps even myself, were talking, do you want screw Europe, doesn't matter, we don't need it. 10 in a row is all that matters. A lot of fans had that perception. But now, we really see how fickle a group of fans we can be. Went out of the Champions League and it was like, get them out. So Lennon knows the importance of getting through this on Thursday night, and getting through it with a dominant performance. We need to take those chances. We don't want punished. Finally, I'll move on to the team and score predictions. I feel like I've waffled my way through this one. It's been a really quick one I've had to throw together with work and college and all the rest of it. But, team and score predictions. Celtic, should be fielding their best 11. I've already touched on the fact that Eduard, for me, I don't think we'll start the game. I do think we'll see him come on. I think we might see that partnership of Ajeti and Klimala up front again. Perhaps maybe Ajeti and Ryan Christie. It's got to be one of those 2 combinations for me. Apart from that, there's no reason why Celtic shouldn't be fielding their best squad. Yes, we've got to think forward as well. We've got a massive game against Hibs at the weekend. We saw what Hibs done with Rangers. They made life incredibly difficult. They took a point from them. They could easily do that to us. Advantage is we're at Celtic Park. We're on our own turf. We're on a bigger pitch. Blah, blah. But take all that away just now. Celtic on Thursday night need to get through this. We need to get through it in style and flair. And for that, our best 11 has to be on the park. Barkas in goals. I think the back 3 you know, I say best 11. Is Julian ready to come back into the team? Are we going to throw him back in after a little injury? I don't know. Maybe we'll see Lamed, Duffy and Ayer once more. I think Frimpong should be over on the right-hand side. I think Taylor should be over on the left-hand side. I think we should still stay with Ncham, Brown and McGregor in the middle. And up front, I do think it could be Klamala and Ayeti. One thing I'd like to add very quickly, if I do decide to throw this into the video, is get Ayeti moving off the ball as much as possible. Get the player beside him, whoever it is, Ryan Christie, or Odson Edouard, or Patrick Klamala, to do as much work as possible with the ball. Get Ayeti into those positions. Get him in those tap-in positions, where it only takes a one-touch shot bang back of the net. He has been fantastic so far this season at getting that done. I would like us to use a lot more of his off-the-ball vision to create chances this weekend. I keep saying this weekend, it's Thursday night, God's sake. Use him to his advantages. He's been great at getting those wee goals, just stealing them the last second. Seen it against Dundee United, seen it against, I think it was Motherwell as well. Do it, Celtic. Edouard, I do believe, will come onto the game. Perhaps if we're in a comfortable position, if we're up 3-4-0, if that happens, not saying it's going to, a big if that happens, maybe at that point Neil Lennon says to himself, no, there's no point bringing on Edouard, we'll save him for the weekend, big game against Hibs. But if we are struggling, if it is a close game, if you're only up 1-0 or it's a draw with 20-30 minutes to go, I think Edouard will be dispatched. I think we'll see him on the park because ultimately we need to get through this. And the longer the game goes on with doubt in our minds, I think that the more pressure the team will feel and the more we'll struggle to convert those chances. We get very rash. We take opportunities that, you know, we normally wouldn't take. So I don't know, I'm feeling confident. I hate these games nowadays, and especially after the Ferencvaros result, it changes things big time. So my score prediction, I'm going to go for 2-0 Celtic. I don't think it will be a battering. Yes, we have the players and the resources to do that, but we know we don't. There's no point getting our hopes up about that. We don't do it. So I'm going to go 2-0 Celtic. Let me know your thoughts, your predictions, everything else in the comments below. If you have enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Make sure to hit like and subscribe to support the channel. Again, has been fantastic recently. Let's keep going. Big things hopefully coming soon too. So yes, same as always. See y'all next time.